Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Of course, here with Randall. We're going to be diving into a little bit of funware and healthcare, more importantly, hospitals today. But first things first, Randall, how are you?
I'm doing well. I love talking about, I was really excited to hear that y'all were getting questions about hospitals, because that's really our bread and butter right now. And not just from where are we seeing a lot of traction, where are we seeing revenue, but it's really a great indication of where the market's headed. So it's people that aren't familiar with the Phunware story. We got our start in the passion verticals. We call it sports media entertainment. Built the first NFL app, the first NASCAR app, a lot of Fox's mobile application portfolio. So you think about that. I have a mobile device with me. It's got a really nice, pretty screen that keeps getting better and better every year, even though the battery gets worse every year. And I can consume content. Or at best, I can go navigate through an optimized website to maybe find some information that could help me, a contact us form or an about us page or something about a brand that I'm interested in. That's 10 years ago. That's like, I think about that, that's like Linux, that's DOS. What are we doing now? How are we thinking about mobile in a mobile first world that's quickly becoming mobile only? That device in your pocket, increasingly in your hand, is not just a big screen. That's a very powerful computer that is location aware, that is connected to the virtual world. And so brands have to be thinking about that as an anchor to a customer. That's how you reach your customer. And how are you going to reach your customer? In the future, it'll all be contextual. So I've said this in the past. I think pretty much at this point, Amazon's eating the world. So pretty much every product you receive will be Amazon enabled. And I want every experience you have to be Phunware enabled. And nowhere is that more prevalent than hospitals. So you think about the continuum of care. I spent over a decade in healthcare. I had a healthcare venture fund. It was designed to invest in healthcare technology companies. So I understand this industry very well. Healthcare is a mess. You don't have to be from healthcare to know that. And so it's very complicated. There's so many different systems. There's so many different solutions. There's so many different providers. It's so complex. We create so much friction, and that has a very direct impact on ROI. It has a very direct impact on patient satisfaction, and it has a huge impact on how we deliver care, both home and abroad. And so if you can take that entire continuum of care, and you can tech enable both basically the patient journey, but also the clinician journey. And you can inform that real world experience with all the information in the virtual world. You can change the world and actually, help people, deliver better care and receive better care. And so if you think about that, I just did this with my mom. I took her to a hospital. She was having a pretty significant procedure. She's already nervous about going through this. She doesn't want to go. And now this hospital is dealing with COVID. And so we show up and there's all this signage to go park over here, get her to the door. Wait, the door is shut off. Like they're not taking people, in through that way. You got to park on the other side of the building. And so now she's like, oh God, I'm gonna be late to my appointment. So I got to get her back in the car, find new parking, then we go in the building, and Lord knows most hospitals are amazed. We can't find the room. Now we're late. They see some other patient first. Now we're trying to find nursing staff, and it just snowballs from there. And that's not how you want to go through your journey in healthcare. Well, that's what our software solves. The minute you're approaching, an actual healthcare facility, our system springs into action. It will direct you directly to where you need to park. Literally a digital map, directions, pictures, content. You're getting all that information to me and or the patient at a point in time when we most need it. Right when we get in, EHR is already integrated directly into our mobile application. So all your medical records are there, everything to expect about your procedure, a care team, it's all, it's at your fingertips. Bill pay, prescription management, discharge protocols, telemedicine, you name it, any aspect of your care, we consolidate that all down to a single native mobile application. And in healthcare, that's called a digital front door. So it truly is tech-enabled care, and it provides everything you need to really just improve care, cut costs, drive patient satisfaction, But it's so much more than that, right? So if anybody, again, has learned the Phunware story, it's all about that contextual engagement. How do I get the right content to the right person on the right screen at the right time in the right place? The example I just gave you is all about the patient. What about the clinician? So once you have that location aware construct in your building, once you have a smart space, you can do anything. So we have this issue all the time with nurses. You have an OR nurse in a procedure, patient's under anesthesia, surgeon says, where's widget 123? I don't know. And a lot of nurses right now are traveling nurses. They're not even performing surgeries in their home hospital. And so they're like, I don't know. And he's like, well, find it. And so they run out of the OR room. They're looking for widget 123. They're asking people in the hallway. They're interrupting other people giving care to patients. They have no idea where this is because it's not their hospital. They might not even know what widget 123 is. In our world, you just pull out your phone, say widget 123. We're integrated with the inventory management system. Map pops up on your phone, directs the nurse directly to the shelf that this widget resides on. You're right back into the OR. I mean, it's very meaningful things like that. That's what the mobile device will be used for. It's less of a, hey, Siri, find me something. And it's more like Siri telling you, go here right now, because this is what's important to you based on who you are, where you are, and what's around you. And so, everything from what that clinician does to what that patient does to how we integrate with all of these vendors. That's why hospitals are choosing to work with Phunware. We just announced our third, one of the largest pediatric hospital in the country. Wow, how scary it must be to take a child to a hospital. You need to demystify that experience as much as possible so that family can focus on the children and focus on hopefully helping them get better. And so we love this business. It really does impact lives. It really does improve lives. And so healthcare is going to be a huge opportunity for us because a lot of these folks have never had a mobile application. It's really greenfield. And so they're really trying to understand, and they really need an expert like Phunware to bring a mobile ecosystem to life and do that out of the box. And again, that's another key competitive advantage of ours is they're licensing software. These hospitals don't have big engineering teams. They don't have big mobile strategy teams. They need someone like Phunware to say, look, I just need it to work. I want to focus on delivering care. I need to license your software and it needs to grow with me, but it also needs to be able to adapt and maintain absolute reliability because my patients and my clinicians deserve that. And so just like you would license the CRM, license mobile software from Phunware, license a digital front door in healthcare, and we'll blow it out of the water for you. And so it's really exciting that people kind of are beginning to understand the differences between just having a mobile app and having an app that is Phunware enabled, which really drives contextual engagement.
Yeah, no, love it. And thanks for painting the picture. I want to kind of got some good questions economic wise. So I was just Googling here quick on the side, how much, an hour or a minute costs in the operating room, just to speak about, it doesn't take too much, from an efficiency standpoint or improvement of care to make it worth it to a hospital or to a surgeon or to, anyone else going to the hospital. I have here that the average cost per minute for a surgery is $150. So,
It's incredible.
of course, run that math up and it gets to a pretty high number very quickly. With an hour being just shy of 10 grand if you're, charging the peak. Extremely interesting. So you guys can save a few minutes or, help a certain procedure happen that much faster, efficient. There's big economic, benefit to obviously, kind of this solution. Do you want to chat about that at all?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and a lot of people are just beginning to understand that, the healthcare industry is a very complex, economic model to begin with. It's a little bit counterintuitive in certain areas because we don't control, 100% of the dollar. That's the idea of insurance and how we think about care kind of changes, what we're willing to do and waste. But hospitals absolutely live and die by their ROI, and especially with COVID and people not doing elective surgeries, that's their blood. They have to have that. And so they're trying to find ways to bring new patients into their facilities. They're trying to find ways to make people feel comfortable doing these elective surgeries. We can actually help. We have a pandemic response solution as well, helping people navigate COVID while still delivering care. But patient satisfaction is huge. In addition to minutes lost in an OR and the danger of having a patient under anesthesia too long while a nurse is trying to find some sort of product or widget, you also have patient satisfaction. It's amazing. There are literally, very great studies done where, doctors will make mistakes and all they have to do is say, I'm sorry. And the incidences of medical malpractice lawsuits just falls off a cliff. Like, it's just this idea of accountability. And so patients, you can do almost anything, but you can't leave them, uninformed. You don't want that process to be ambiguous. You want to educate them, tell them what to do, give them all the information, treat them like adults, and they will. They will understand when things maybe don't go the right way all the time, or if they have to wait a little bit longer. And so one of the things we also enable is patient satisfaction while you're going through the actual process, and that has a direct correlation to reimbursement. So if your patient satisfaction scores start going down because they have a really bad experience at your hospital, your reimbursement rates go down. How you get paid goes down. So you need to keep your patients happy. Helping them not get lost keeps them happy. Helping them understand where their care team keeps them happy. And so you can imagine sitting in, and I don't want to bust anybody out here, but nurses have these running jokes on, no one's listening to your call button. And so when you're sitting in a recovery room and you're punching that call button because your feet are cold, guess what? That nurse isn't racing to come care for you because they might be intubating a patient right now, or somebody might be, trying to find a crash cart. They're not worried about your feet being cold, but you certainly are. You're clicking that call button going, God, where's my nurse? What is going on right now? My feet are cold, and you're getting pissed off. And that will absolutely impact your patient satisfaction scores, which impacts the hospital's revenue. And so being able to pull up your phone, just like you can with Lyft, and you see your car coming, and even though it's 10 minutes away, you see it's coming, and so you're not worried about it. You can relax. But if that same situation, if you call the taxi and you're like, where is this thing? And you don't know where it is, it could be the same distance away, but because you don't have visibility, you're really annoyed by it. Well, same thing like a ride share, you can actually see where your care team is using our software. And you can see, okay, they're in a patient room, or they're busy right now. They're not just hanging out, ignoring you, they're doing something. And so you want that kind of visibility, we called it a common operating picture when I was in the military, but that kind of visibility for a brand is huge. Take hospitality, for example. We just announced, one of the largest, resorts in the world is using our software. And that's a great use case for us. So not only can we help people navigate a very complex resort, not only can we help you order food or drink from anywhere on the property and they'll just bring it directly to you, but there's all sorts of really interesting things that the resort itself can do, understanding, where people are, what's the wait time, how long is this, how can we best serve you, can we offer you certain added benefits, and then having a real-time pulse of how happy you are. If something is going wrong, I want to be able to interdict that right now. And so that kind of, not only can you contextually engage with the property, but I as a brand can contextually engage with you if you're not happy, and let me help you be happy. So it's really that mobile concierge for your entire customer experience. That's how people have to start thinking about mobile right now. And all the large brands that we're working with, whether it's a hospital, whether it's a hospitality, luxury residential, using your phone to open your door, using your phone to access elevator, using your phone to call the valet, book amenities. I think I mentioned this in the last one. If anybody watches that show Family Karma on Bravo, they use our app in one of those episodes where he's at X Miami and he's like, look, I can order coffee for us, right from the lobby, and they'll bring it to us. That's us. And so that's going to be table stakes going forward as people think about how to use that mobile device to better engage people. And, we talked about economics in the hospital. That's economics for us that I don't think people fully grasp. So we had a lot of revenue when we were out chasing large brands to build them mobile applications in kind of the passion vertical space. We consciously decided to stop chasing that revenue because it was lower margin and it wasn't recurring. If you want to be a public company, you kind of almost in this day and age, have to be, if you're going to be a software company, it needs to kind of be SaaS. That's how you scale. That's how you get great multiples. So we invested everything in order to build a mobile platform that would allow brands to license our software. If they don't have a mobile app, they can license a mobile app. If they already have a mobile app, they can license specific features. They can integrate it into their existing mobile app. We serve all. And all we're doing is establishing software licenses where it's 1, 2, 3, 5-year software licenses. So if we do a multi-million-dollar deal with a very large partner, we're not going to show $1 million in revenue in the first month. That's going to be recognized over the lifetime of that contract. So the beauty of it is we're signing, these people are signing 5-year contracts with us, higher margin, recurring revenue, software licenses. And so think about that. I'm a multi-billion-dollar hospital system, or I'm a multi-billion-dollar railway operator in the case of Norfolk Southern, and I want a smart workplace solution. And I'm doing 3 to 5-year software licenses because this is transformational for me. This is going to underpin my movement towards full digital transformation. I'm going to have a mobile-first strategy, and I'm going to bet that Phunware is a company to deliver it. And so as we begin to grow the business, that's a really good book of business, what we've been doing to date, which is just kind of, selling through partners or direct selling. But where all of a sudden I think we're going to see this hockey stick is when we start really activating indirect channels. So if you think about Microsoft Office, Microsoft wasn't out there trying to sell Jason Coles, hey man, I really want you to download Microsoft Office, put it on your phone, it's going to be great. Let's have a one-on-one and let's get you under contract. They went out and sold the phone company. They went out and sold the computer companies. It was a much longer sales cycle than maybe selling Jason Coles. But once they did it, every time somebody sold a phone, they sold Microsoft Office, and it was mailbox money. That's how you get big. That's how you get big fast. And so I don't think a lot of people realize that's what we're doing. We are not a dev shop that has slightly figured out how to build a better mobile application. We're an enterprise cloud platform that allows you to license mobile software, and we can integrate our software into your solution so that you can white label everything that we did. We spent $100 million plus on this platform for a reason. It works. And a lot of brands are beginning to bet on standardizing on us because it works. You don't have to worry about it failing. You don't have to worry about latency issues. You don't have to worry about it not being contextually aware. It's pre-integrated with all that location software. And so Carrier, they licensed our, location software first, and we're in talks for, other solutions that we have, but they're going out with a smart building solution. Think about that. That's Carrier. They're a massive, heating and cooling company, but they do so much more than that. They've got, some of the best clients we could ever possibly want. And, so rolling out a smart solution for a hospital or a manufacturer or a hotel chain or, any corporation that uses their, HVAC systems, it just makes so much sense. But so does access control. We previously mentioned HID is a partner, Salto, Smart Locks, Cisco's, Wi-Fi. And so, anybody who is in the building space, and guess what, there's 16 billion square feet of building space in the US alone, they're going to have to be thinking about, how do I turn this building into a smart building? How do I better engage people? So Norfolk Southern, how do I get people back into the office? We're building this brand new, beautiful office building in Atlanta, Georgia, and they want an office of the future. So a totally tech-enabled employee experience driven by Phunware so that their employees can access the parking management system, they can find each other, they can book meeting rooms, they can do, order food from, first, ground floor retail or, or restaurants. And so there's all these complexities to the employee experience that they can now wrap under one single native mobile application, and they're just licensing software for us. If they want to change something or add something in the future, great. Everything is built modular. And so I think that's going to be what is going to take people by surprise as we begin to sell through other channels. and all of a sudden people realize that this is table stakes and we've already got the platform to do it out of the box. Again, everything is going to be Amazon enabled that you buy. Everything you experience is going to be Phunware enabled.
Yeah, no, love it. Your passion just carries so well, and you segued perfectly. I think we covered a lot of the questions that I was seeing was just more of a intro to the hospital stuff, but then also got some questions on why would a hospital kind of look at the solution. We talked economics, so I think that was perfect. Anything else really about anything we've talked about you wanted to add in? I know you went on a rant, absolutely crushed any other questions someone might have, but obviously want to always invite people that have questions. Love getting Randall worked up and answering
No,
those.
you're not wrong though. I mean, but that's what people should be looking at. I think, being a career investor for so long, you just learn intimately that you're betting on people. Markets change, products change, product market fit changes. You have to have, the horse. I want a fast horse, but I want a great jockey too. I don't want to just bet on a fast horse. I want to bet on a fast horse with an amazing jockey that has a lot of experience and can actually, handle a fast horse. And that's what you get with Phunware. We just announced that we added Steve Grosso, a really well-known analyst and just career Wall Street, luminary to our IR team. Also another gentleman named Landon Barreto, Barreto Pacific Corporation, to also help us just kind of tell our story to more institutional investors. I think as we begin to do that, that heavily drives volume and liquidity. But that's what every one of these calls I'm having with institutional investors. That's it. They love the fact that our management team has worked together on average over 8 years together. We've been in the trenches. We know what we're doing. We're not, just kind of bouncing around to, different shops, just, trying to get different salaries and different bonuses to kind of parachute in and take over something. This is it. We live and breathe Phunware. This is, we will make this successful. And we kind of trust each other. We know each other. And that's what shareholders should be looking for. They should be looking for teams who are passionate, who are committed, who can speak to their business, who can speak to the vision, because they were having the same conversation with customers. And if you can't, you'll never be able to do anything transformational if you can't inspire somebody. And I think we talked about this in the past, but I can't imagine how hard it must have been to sell cloud services for the very first time. What do you mean I'm going to put my stuff in the cloud? I don't want to put it in the cloud. Like, what's the cloud? It was such a complicated concept to get, and it was so scary to do. Now it's table stakes. Amazon did that. They drove all of their passion, all of their engineering, and all of their resources into building the infrastructure for an on-demand economy 10 years before anyone knew that they wanted an on-demand economy. I'm telling you right now, the world wants contextual engagement. They just don't know it yet, but they're beginning to. We've been looking at it in Hollywood forever. We saw it in Minority Report with Tom Cruise. We saw it in Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox. We saw it in Total Recall, both with Colin Farrell and Arnold Schwarzenegger. This ability to have technology seamlessly interact with you in the real world based on information in the virtual world, that's the future. And that's literally hardware, software, firmware, Phunware. It's going to be a household name before you know it.
Hey, there's a good saying, and when it comes to tech, the tech companies know what you want more than you do, and it's pretty funny to think even back, if early times, like even early video games, you're looking at something and whatever 240p, wow, the graphics are incredible, and all this stuff, and how fast that's improved. And Randall, I want to say thanks so much. I think this was an amazing video, so looking forward to doing another one soon. And again, I want to invite anyone with questions, please keep firing them in. We'll definitely cover a lot of things, a lot of different topics. And again, Randall, thanks so much for joining.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jason. Really appreciate it. Talk to you soon.